We want to say thank you to our sponsors, Watchman Cigars, Webmerized, Hill Brewing, Crave Bath & Body, and all of our Patreon link subscribers. Without you, this episode would not be possible. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it is our take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, while you, the listener, are invited to come up on the front porch, grab a beverage, and set a spell. We've got a great show lined up for you, as always. But before we begin, let me introduce you to our starting lineup. He is hosting the chat. He is manning the videos. It is Magic Man.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
We have our special producer, Brian.
Very special. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Very, very special. And our sideline reporter, Allen, who will later start a new bit. Where in the world is Allen, and where is he eating? So he'll be joining with us today. And, of course, I be your illustrious host, Biggin, and how about you? We've got, again, as I said, we've got a great show lined up for you. But before we begin, let producer Brian let you know where you can find us on the socials.
We are on the internet at facebook.com/Southern Fried Philosophy. We're at Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at SFP Radio. You can always email the show at sfpradio@gmail.com. If you would like to financially support the show, this isn't always cheap. Patreon.com/SFP Radio. You can give us $1. You can give us $1,000. Your choice. You can always find us streaming on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and the TuneIn app.
Perfect. If you are staying at home, or you're sitting at home doing nothing, and you have a fans only account, and you're high on TikTok, and you need somebody to produce everything for you, producer Brian will do that.
I think fans only is about to go under, but we can do whatever.
Is it? And I always get confused. Is it fans only or only?
It's only fans, I believe. But,
how do you know that?
It's because it's all over the news right now.
How's it going?
All over the news. Well, they're blocking explicit content, which I believe is how they made all their money.
Well, yeah.
So
goodbye.
I don't know what people are going to pay for anymore. So that's all I can figure.
How do we capture all of those people that were watching the explicit content to move over to our show?
Well, at one point we had that other show we were going to do the monthly, the uncensored or the
uncensored podcast,
raw podcast, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Gosh, we need to bring
use
that
your
back.
imaginations, folks.
I mean, I'll take my shirt off if that helps, or maybe I should make
them pay for it. It's like $25. Right?
To
or
keep
something.
my shirt on. Otherwise, this bad boy's coming right off.
The more follows you get, the more you can charge, I think, is what it comes to, maybe. I don't know. I don't know the rules. I've never tried it.
You have to follow, or I'm taking my shirt off.
Subscribe.
That's the
rule.
rule.
You go. Subscribe to get JT.
You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. My wife doesn't want to see that. But if you are making videos or podcasts or anything and you need a producer, email producer Brian at headlines@sfpradio.com. Then you can support him and his family and, for $1 a day or something like that. If you would like to be a show sponsor, email me at sfpradio@gmail.com. That will, get your name up. We'll put your stuff on the website. We'll make you look pretty, and we'll give you shouts out, and we'll beg you for free stuff. Season 5 is wrapping up August 30th, so we have this show and then one more after that. Then we will be back in January. We may have a Thanksgiving, Christmas special, whatnot. We'll probably do a show from Red Hill with our Patreon subscribers getting some wonderful SFP beer. So again, if you are a Patreon subscriber, give me $1 a month. You can head up to Red Hill. We'll have a nice party. By the way, I said this, and then Chris was like, hey, I was listening to that, and I don't remember you saying that, but booking it. I'm like, oh, well, there's that.
Surprise.
Surprise. So as a show sponsor, you're going to just let us borrow the space for a couple hours. But anyway.
Supply the beer.
Yeah, and supply the beer. So season 5 is wrapping up. No, I have to mop up afterwards. Season 5 is wrapping up, and then Season 6 will start next year. We want to say shout out to our listeners from Greece.
Oh.
What up, Greece?
I love Greece.
Yeah, especially donuts.
Chicken
Magic
fat,
Man is going to give us an interesting fact about Greece.
First of all, I have an uncle who is Greek.
Oh,
Okay.
An uncle by marriage, and his parents immigrated, and so it's been cool to learn about the Greek culture and stuff. So, anyways, just thought I'd throw that out there. Okay.
Right. I thought that was your interesting fact.
No, I've got a couple here. 7% of the marble produced in the world comes from Greece.
Oh.
I thought you meant marbles. I thought they made the little tiny marbles. Like, that is some marble producing people there.
That's right. Greece has more international airports than most countries because of all the foreign tourists that want to visit it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's the third leading producer of olives. The Greeks have cultivated olive trees since ancient times. And actually, it says that there's some olive trees planted in the 13th century that are still producing olives.
Oh, wow.
That's impressive.
Well, there you go.
I have a question.
That is an interesting fact. Yes, sir.
Is it pronounced gyro or euro?
Oh, it's
Or is that
Euro,
even
right?
Greek? That's the real question, I guess.
Everybody's voting for Euro, right?
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. I think it's...
I'm that guy in line at the shop where someone's asked for a gyro in front of me. And I just want to like slap him in the back of the head. Like,
oh, okay. Alan's the international man of mystery. I'm assuming you also call it a Euro.
Yeah, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've always called it a Euro.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that contribution.
It's like a hero, but Greek, right? It's the same principle.
I was just thinking about it's like the same thing as Porsche and Porsche. I've seen that hashed out. I guess it is Porsche, but if you go to a dealership, they won't correct you. They'll correct you in passing.
That's only after you dish out like $150,000 for a car. Then they go, actually, it's not.
But it is one of those things. Like every time I go to order it, I try to catch myself and make sure, even though I know it's Euro.
Oh, Euro.
No,
sorry.
Euro. And it's the same thing with a quesadilla because from National Lampoon,
Napoleon Dynamite.
I always want to call it the quesadilla. Still to this day, like I want me a quesadilla, like a quesadilla. Yeah, same thing. Can you guys relate to that? The quesadilla.
Oh yeah,
yeah. All right, I'm going to ask you guys like I ask you every week. Hey, be darn, Magic Man, go.
That was impressive. Your voice kind of cracked there.
You know, I'm still going through puberty. I'm still doing that.
That was awesome, man. Doing all right. So weather report, it's raining at my house. And,
yeah, mine too.
Looks like it's heard some thunder earlier. So yeah.
Yep.
But
right.
yeah, doing all right. Doing all right.
All right. Well, that was fascinating. Producer Brian Eibern.
I'm good. You know, I feel like we just did this like yesterday. The week has gone by so fast.
Yeah.
It's like, didn't we just do this? It's already Thursday again.
Yeah. It seems like it went by fast. I thought today was Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's exciting, though. I mean, tomorrow's Friday.
It is Friday.
It's like having a 4-day work week.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Last week I said I was really tired because of all the work I was doing. Well, I didn't do any better this week. So last night I was in bed at 9:00. So that's how. That's what happened.
Well,
to me.
way to
I feel
go.
great today, except for
So we're gonna have a couple of categories for SFP. One is if you hit over 300 pounds, and then the other one is if you go to bed before 9:00. so those will get congratulations.
I don't usually do that.
I've done both.
You get the Magic Man Award.
We're the same boat, brother. The Magic Man Award. Alan, how you be doing?
Pretty good, man. Work's been slowing down. It was crazy for a hot minute, but I'm enjoying it.
That's good. Yeah, you've been busy all around the world. Aye.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Getting ready for his baby.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, so it's the announcement, right? You've officially made it official, and everybody knows, and it's Facebook official, right?
Yep.
I do now.
Yeah. People in Greece are going, aha, I knew it. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
How does it feel, man? Like your life is about to change dramatically.
I mean, everybody keeps telling me the stories about what it's going to be like, but I mean, it just hasn't set in yet.
It won't.
It's still like, oh, we're having a baby, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The impact doesn't happen yet.
It's not real until you're like holding the baby. That's when it's real.
Yeah, it's like, that's the thing.
And then they let you send you home from the hospital after 2 days with no instructions. Then it's really
we're
real.
coming home the same day.
That's what you think.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Is that
because of COVID?
No, we're doing. So she's doing it completely natural.
Oh, you're doing one of those. Oh, she's a hero. She's being a hero. Oh, okay.
She's being a hero.
Oh, right.
A hero.
Yeah. So we're coming home the same day.
Wow.
Which I'm just like, holy.
All right. Well, that's even worse because when we have my kids, I think both of them are there for 2 or 3 days, and then you can like watch the nurses do their thing. Like, okay, I think I can do that, the diaper or whatever. I took some parenting classes also, but when the baby comes home, it's like, yeah. Now what?
Yeah. Well, being in foster care, the only thing, like, as a foster parent, the only training you get is CPR. Right. I mean, that's the only thing I got.
Well, I was like, did I get that? I did get that, actually. I took some courses. I don't remember it. You shake them when that happens, right? To get the
I think so.
All right.
Like hanging upside down, beat them really hard in the back, and then throw them up against the wall. Right. I'm just kidding, DSS. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. I've been to your classes. So,
I think the last CPR training I've had was back in 1988 in 8th grade.
That was the Heimlich maneuver, and she didn't appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go to our... for me.
Oh, yeah.
We had Small Batch's birthday. She's dos today. Today, as a matter of fact.
Terrific twos.
So, yeah, buddy, here we go. I'm not looking forward to this part.
Have fun. It's a fun age, man.
Liz, I love, and I try to have the mantra, and Alan, just parting wisdom here, is enjoy every moment. Don't be like, I can't wait until. Like, I've tried to eliminate that whole thing from my vocabulary, but just enjoy every moment that there is. But I will say that gets really stretched when she's on the floor screaming her head off and like throwing temper tantrums. And I'm like, whoa, I need this to be over. It gets a little rough. So we celebrated her birthday. She melted down just like once or twice. So no big deal. Had just family over. So everything was small and COVID safe and everything. So it was a good time. Just I'm tired. Very tired. So here's our Southern phrase of the week. Give me some sugar. You guys have heard that before. Oh, yeah. Not literally passing the sugar. This phrase means more like, come over here and give me some of that sweetness. Give me a kiss. Often heard from a grandma or grandpa when they see their grandbabies, another Southern term, and want to give kisses as much as they receive them. This phrase is most used among loved ones. I should also note that it could be pronounced sugah, as we rarely use R's. That part is true. You guys ever hear that phrase? Your grandma ever say that to you?
The phrase makes me think about Def Leppard, though, so I can't disassociate that.
Pour some sugar. Pour some sugar on me.
I think it's a different context there, maybe. But
in the name of love.
They're both in the name of love.
It's like grandma singing Def Leppard. Just picture that in your head, right?
Yeah, at least it's not love in an elevator. So
people our age that grew up with that music, there'll be one day we're grandparents singing "Pour some sugar on me" to the grandkids.
You wonder why they don't come back for Thanksgiving.
Oh, well, you guys remember, I think it was last week's show or maybe the week before, we talked about TV shows and guilty pleasure TV shows. I think Magic Man, you were gone on that episode. Do you or Alan, do you have any guilty pleasure shows? I said mine was 90 Day Fiance, and then I also started watching The Outer Banks on Netflix. Any guilty pleasure shows from y'all?
I've been watching Pan Am, and which was, I think, a one season series, if I remember correctly, about from 10 years ago, and Mad Men.
Oh.
Okay, well, that's not a guilty pleasure.
I don't know. That's just what I've been watching. Guilty pleasure. It's usually like YouTube videos, I guess.
Okay.
Cletus McFarland.
Big as
OnlyFans
OnlyFans account.
videos.
That's a guilty pleasure, right?
Yeah. TikTok videos.
Yeah. Alan, any guilty pleasure shows?
So, yeah.
He doesn't want to say it.
Beth got me into watching Call the Midwife on, on Netflix, and it's really good. I was getting razzed at work about it, but I enjoy it. It is a really good show.
Nice. Okay, I'm not going to put you down for that. Yeah, but I got hooked on 90 Day Fiance, so I have no room to talk on that. But I did find out Outer Banks is a show on Netflix, and it's like Goonies meets Dawson's Creek, if you'll think of it like that. It's a treasure hunt, but it's a little bit corny, but it's still
pretty people
hold your attention,
hunting, right?
Very pretty people doing treasure hunting. And so I was scrolling through the old Facebook feed, and my old manager's manager gave a shout out to my old manager and said, "Hey, just in case you didn't watch, season 2 is out of Outer Banks is on Netflix." I was like, "Well, why does that matter?" Because he tagged her in it. And so I kept reading and reading. Turns out my old manager back in Houston, her son is one of the leading characters on that show. And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Small world.
It's a very small world. So he plays Pope on the show. So if you ever decide to watch that, it was like, blew my mind. I know his mama. So now I'm old because now I know the actors' mamas and daddies, not like them personally. Now I know your mama. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. So I would encourage you to go ahead and watch the show if you are so inclined. At least pretend like you are, so it makes Netflix the Netflix algorithms see that you watch it, and then they renew another schedule or a new season, and it keeps taking off. All right, so the next topic is old men fighting. Yeah.
It's David, a step away from this show, right?
Yeah, just slight. What I love about this, I don't know if you guys heard this. Did you guys hear about the fight? It was trending on Twitter between Larry David and Alan Dershowitz.
Oh.
So it was like trending pretty hard on Twitter. So Larry David, he's the creator of
Seinfeld.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, co-creator of Seinfeld. And then, so him and Alan Dershowitz, which I know the name, but I can't place it. Anybody?
I'm going to have to look it up. You keep talking. I'll figure out who he is. Yeah.
So they were in Martha's Vineyard at the Chillmark General Store in Martha's Vineyard. Could you imagine going to the grocery store and seeing Larry David and Alan Dershowitz?
He kind of looks like
just going to the grocery store. Like, oh, I guess they do go to the grocery store. I would, I always think that they're just getting, people to go get stuff for them. But anyway, so they're at the general store, and then Larry David just screams, or somebody heard, Dershowitz say, "Well, Larry, we can still keep talking. You don't have to walk away." And then Larry David said, No, we really can't. I saw with your arm around Mike Pompeo. It's disgusting. And then they start arguing back and forth. It's disgusting, your whole enclave, blah, blah, blah. And then they just keep screaming at each other at a shopping center in a grocery store there. I just thought that was funny that two old men are just screaming.
Are there any
at each other.
cameras? Because this sounds like an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It does. Like his whole life is an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
So Alan Dershowitz is a lawyer.
Okay.
Who has represented a few notable folks in his career. I'll jump to some of the more interesting ones. O.J. Simpson.
Let me just pull him up. Oh,
Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, my.
Julian Assange.
Okay.
Harvey Weinstein. And Donald Trump. So, That's some context for your
okay
grocery store meltdown.
Lee Short says he was also chief of staff for the first Bush.
Okay.
Bush 41.
Yeah, he's done some. He's been a pundit, I think, on some television stuff and news.
Well, I'm not. Before this article, I just thought it was funny about two old men yelling at each other, but now I'm kind of siding with Larry David, to be honest with you. All right. Any thoughts on that?
It just sounds like a episode of Curb Your. I've only seen like one or two, but
yeah,
Larry David yelling at people seems to be the plot of that show. So
I do love it when old men just yell. You know, when they just start getting in a rant. I want to be that age where I can just say whatever I want to say and I don't care anymore. Like there's a little part of me that still cares, and I'm waiting for that to dissipate. And then I'm just like, I don't care. I'm going to say whatever I want.
Yeah, your filter kind of dissolves away the older you get, I think.
Yeah.
Boundaries go away.
That day. Yeah. You're the crazy old man. That'll be the greatest day of my life. I don't even care about
Get
retiring.
to the point where no one even fights you about it. Like, oh, yeah, it's okay. He's just old.
He's just a crazy old man.
When can you start?
Get off my lawn.
Can I just do that now? And just like, I want to just dye my beard white all the way.
There we go. I'm going to get a Wilford Brimley mask and just wear that around. I think that's kind of where my life is going.
Saying diabetes everywhere.
Diabetes. I know who doesn't have diabetes is Terry Rozier. I don't know if you guys saw, but he got a $97 million contract extension with the Charlotte Hornets. He's the point guard. He was a point guard at the University of Louisville. $97 million. It's a guaranteed deal that will take him through the 25-26 season.
It's like 4 basketball seasons. Is that my math right on that?
Yep. 4 seasons. Yep.
That's a lot of money.
I would lick the toilets after every game at the Time Warner Arena for $97 million for 4 years.
Okay. Is that? I'm assuming you get insurance with that as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, you got to have insurance.
So if you break it, that's what 20. That's just under $25 million a year. Just $25 million a year. I mean, that's comparable with like NFL quarterback money, right? Which I don't keep up with the NBA too much, but it seems like what a decent player, from the NFL side would be making. The quarterback, point guard's your quarterback, right? So,
right, and I get that. Here's the deal. Here's my
guaranteed
overall question. This is the morality part of the show. Why are we spending why are they getting paid $97 million? Like, I know that they generate a crap ton of money. I totally get that. But isn't our perspective and values completely off when we're paying $60, $70 a ticket, to go watch a sporting event? And they get paid so much money. I don't necessarily think that that's a good use of money. I don't know. What are your all's thoughts?
I agree. I think athletes are way, way overpaid. It's just I don't even know where to begin. It's I don't want to call it a racket, but it's just
what they're not disclosing.
Athletes are overpaid for playing a game.
How much the owners are making on this stuff, because the players are like they're equivalent of your minimum wage employee here on the on the organization. If one out of 11, 12 guys on the basketball team, right, gets that kind of money, that's just a little piece of the NBA pie, right? Compared to what the owners are making and the organization and all of that. That's where the money is. And this looks like a lot. You know what he's doing. This is guaranteed. So they're, whether that's smart or not, to pay a guy that kind of money for that many years. It's a question, but I think we're missing a step there, you know. And then you could say the argument would be, you know, they're talented and he hurts himself and he can't ever play again. He got paid for something, right? Or what's his next thing? Like, does he have any skill outside of, like, he's put his whole life into playing basketball. What does he do after basketball? You know, if you don't there's some stuff there that's not guaranteed after that, right? So who are you after
that? If I break my finger and I can't type, you know, what am I going to do the rest of my life? It says, per the Google, they make around $100 million, right? However, after salaries, arena costs, maintenance, and other required expenses, the owner takes home around $12 to $30 million per season.
That's just his take home,
right? So,
how does he pay for groceries?
Well, he's going out with Larry David, and they're all going to the market. He's
eating at the steakhouse inside of the arena for free. That's part of the deal. You know, you look at like these CEOs who all their money, they make stocks. They have a $1 salary or whatever. So on the books, it's like, oh, you know, we don't know what they're really making. But then if the company succeeds, then they're getting paid. But
right. So the owners, they don't get stock, but by gosh, they can get free nachos whenever they want. Yeah. They just go down to the stadium,
extra
have
jalapenos,
somebody whip them up some nachos.
So just give me that whole jar.
Add some bacon. Yeah. It's worth it right there. One topic that we skipped over that I did not mean to is I kind of wanted to talk about Afghanistan. Part of it is because we have Allen on with us tonight, and he served our country. Thank you very much for your service in Afghanistan. But the reason why I particularly brought it up is because I saw. We all saw the images, the horrible images of people trying to escape, jumping on the airplane and falling off and whatnot. And I saw a post by a Christian that said, "Oh no, all the terrorists are coming over," and it broke my heart because these people really are trying to make their lives better. So I just, if as Christians, can we just have a little bit of compassion and not think everybody's out to kill us? Could there be some terrorists? Maybe. How big is your God if you are so scared that you don't love people, and maybe your love could change their life, and you're just so scared that they're going to poop in their underwear or something like that? Guys, just love people is all I'm saying. Is your first reaction should not be, oh no. It should be, oh no, they're coming over here. It should be, how can we help and how can we love? So I was frustrated at that. I was frustrated just at the whole thing. It feels like this whole war was pointless. And Alan, I want your opinion on that, but it just seems like we spent all this money and effort to try to help a country that producer Brian and I were talking about earlier is, didn't want to be saved. So what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Give us your take.
I think every point that everybody's been making, all the different ones, each one of them has a portion of validity. So the people who are saying oh, well, they didn't fight for their country. They just ran away. There's some validity to that. I don't think it's as cut and dry as they're making it out, to sound when they say that. But I mean, it's a shame. It's terrible. It's we spent, all this time and all this money and all this effort. And I can tell you, everybody who served, their heart was in it. And a lot of guys went over there probably, wanting some, for various reasons, but probably revenge, after, after 2001. And I know that's kind of where my heart was when I went over there. But when I got there and, basically when I arrived and when I left, it was a different meaning to me. We did a lot of humanitarian aid while I was there. And, it's just that part kind of hurts. Cause it's now it's kind of for what, I hope the kids that we interacted with at least have some good memories of that, and that's what I could take away from it. But it just stinks because it's all that good work it just feels like it was ruined in a matter of days. Like, you took 20 years of whatever you want to call it, but I think there was definitely some progress there, and you just threw that out.
Yeah. It breaks my heart. I mean, it's just, I know it means a whole lot to you. You can see it on your face, and I wish things were different. I really do. My heart breaks for the people. And I know, again, as a believer, we've got to just love people, and we can't use this as something where we can just, put people down.
And there's I just want to add, like, there's
absolutely.
There's some really good people over there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's kids. Like, it's easy just to think about them as the adults that, that really hurt us, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But there's kids and there's families and people struggling. And it's like, now things are really nuts.
Yeah. It's not their fault for being born in Afghanistan, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned the comment about the terrorists are all leaving the country. I'm pretty sure they're the ones that took over the country, so they're probably going to hang out there for a while, right?
Yeah.
The people trying to flee are not the ones I'm worried about, right?
Right. Absolutely.
It's what happens with the rest of the nation. And what are you going to be looking at this in 6 months, and what's it look like then? We have a tendency, I think, as Americans to see the disaster, and it's real hot for about a minute, and then we get to see something else. It's like ADD or ADHD.
Absolutely.
Like there was a hurricane or an earthquake in Haiti, right? It's got a little bit of attention. That's real close to here. And how can we help that too? Like they pick their things. We're going to jump around. There could be something else. Some fires will catch somewhere, and then we're going to look at that, right? And we're going to forget all about the atrocity happening on the other side of the world for a little while. It seems like.
Yeah, it feels like in America, our entire attention span is like a TikTok video on life. Like, oh, what's the next thing? Scroll up, scroll up.
Yeah.
What's the next thing going on? And we don't pay attention enough, even just to our own neighbors, to even care.
Right.
Man. All right. Don't cry. You're good. Okay, so here's a change of place. So there was a Miami Beach couple that was arrested in Hawaii for using fake vaccination cards. There was this couple, obviously from Miami. They flew over to Hawaii. Evidently, the rules in Hawaii is you've got to show your vaccination card to get in. Themselves and two children were on a vacation, but they decided to fake a vax card. And they got busted. Now they're being held in Hawaii.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so,
Is it
tough
a beach
break for y'all.
prison? I mean, is there sand and waves?
Maybe. They are in violation of the state's safe travel rules, which requires travelers to produce proof of vaccination to avoid quarantine when entering the state. It could be up to a $5,000 fine or up to a year in prison. Guys, by the way, they were also cited a total of $8,000 in posted bail. I'm no mathematician, but I believe that the COVID vaccine is free. And now it just cost you $8,000. So, fake vax cards, that's a thing now? By the way, the vax cards just look like they were just printed on.
I could probably make one right here, right now.
Yeah, you can make one. Yeah,
it won't have and then one of mine I think had a stamp on it, and I think the other was handwritten. Like one of the, I got two shots.
It looks like I had go back to school notes or your out of school notes from my doctor that looked more professional than this thing. So I don't know. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. Using fake vax cards.
They get caught, I guess.
Just postpone your trip.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that the deal was they didn't have their vaccine, which, that's your deal. But they didn't want to to quarantine, you have to quarantine yourself for 2 weeks if you get there, or you have to take COVID tests to prove that you're free. So they didn't want to do that. So that's
why they couldn't afford to stay an extra 2 weeks in Hawaii quarantined.
Look, I can't afford to stay,
but they could afford $8,000
Hawaii.
fine, which is pretty close.
Well, maybe. Maybe. So I just thought that was weird. Speaking of weird, I need the X-Files theme song, please. Sheriff's deputies remain mystified over how a family of 3, along with their dog, perished on a remote hiking trail in Maricopa County. I don't want to make light of this because this is a tragedy. But what is odd is this couple who is very experienced in going hiking, they were found dead on a hiking trail with their 1-year-old daughter, which, by the way, that's, again, horrible. And their dog, but the bodies were just found on the trail. Like, there's no cause of death. There's nothing that they can find. They were just there. Like, there's no toxicologies right now is being performed, but the only thing that they say that could possibly have happened was either toxic algae or gas from mines around the area.
Toxic, like they ate toxic algae?
But I mean, the dog would have had to, the 1-year-old would have had to, maybe fumes from the toxic algae.
Even the gases, like how many people hiked through what area was this in? I need to look at the article.
It's Heights Cove. It was at the site of a hard rock gold mining operation.
California.
But it's like a regular walked path. Like nobody's ever, died there. That I know of. Right, this is going to be an unsolved mystery. So I don't know if have you guys ever watched, there's a show called Missing 411. I think it's on Hulu. There's other places around, but it details like how people that go into the woods, they just disappear or some really weird stuff happens to them. Like there was one that's like an experience. I think he was a ranger, and he went hiking and he was a mile off course and he got lost. And then they say like lost his sense of direction and then just disappeared. But like he was just a mile off and he could have just traveled down a stream to get back to where he needed to go. Like he knew the area really well. And another guy that was just out hunting with his friends and he was 500 yards from his truck and just disappeared. And I don't know, man, this whole thing is weird. There's a lot of stuff that happens around national forests. It's documented in the movie around national forests that people just disappear. It's crazy the amount of time.
Oh, what was that? I was reading something or saw there's some conspiracy that the national forest is like a cover up for some creatures or something, like, that's where all the aliens are living. There's
Sasquatch.
Yeah, a Sasquatch. And then there's, how many hikers disappear every year in the national forest? And that's like a human sacrifice kind of situation or something. Like, we're not going to worry about that. It's going to keep the monsters at bay kind of thing.
Right. Statistically, you're safe.
It's like, I don't know about that. I mean, I've spent a lot of times in the woods, like hiking. It's easy to get turned around. Even if you think you know where you're going. I mean, it's easy to miss a trail depending on how well they're marked. But you think these people trained would know better than that.
Right. And they said that they walked this particular trail pretty regularly and it was just on the trail. And then again, at this point, no cause of death whatsoever.
Need some follow up on that one. I'm curious.
Yeah, we're gonna need to follow up.
There's actually a podcast dedicated to people disappearing in national forests.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's called Park Predators.
See?
Wow.
I know it's on Apple Podcasts, but it's some wild stuff.
Right? Man.
Oh.
I don't know. Magic Man, do you ever go camping? Like, not RVing, but like hiking and camping and stuff? That's not camping.
It's glamping.
It's glamping. If you have your own pooper, that's not camping.
Yeah, I did when I was a kid. And then when I was with that reenactment unit, we did camping.
Camping wool underwear.
And encampments and stuff. Yeah.
Pooped your underwear.
No, not me. Maybe some of the small kids that were in the unit, but not me. but yeah, I mean, we'd go camping. Now, granted, we would go to campgrounds usually.
Okay.
No, when I was really young and we lived in California, we'd go into like the big basin where the redwood trees are and stuff.
Okay.
But it would be like a group, like my parents and family or my parents and friends of theirs and their families and stuff. Good times.
Alan, I don't think I've ever asked you, and this is one of the questions of the year, is Bigfoot or aliens, which one is more likely to exist?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to go with aliens just because that's kind of where my head goes.
Okay. All right. As I said before, if you haven't listened before, I think that the aliens are Bigfoot. So I get both.
Well, I mean, have you ever seen we've seen alien bodies, supposed. We've never seen a Bigfoot body. Like,
that is true.
No one to haul the Bigfoot out of the woods. Like
that part is true. Have you guys seen anything weird in the woods though? Woods are freaky.
Nah, but I don't go to the woods that often.
I mean, I've been creeped out. I used to do a lot of backpacking, and sitting out at night. I haven't done a whole lot of solo. I usually had someone with me, but even then, you're sitting out middle of the night and it's dark, and you like. There's like squirrels or raccoons hopping around probably, but you just hear, you can get creeped out, or it gets real quiet, or the wind stops blowing, it's kind of get in your own head pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, David Pilates, I think is the guy's name that does the Missing 411. It's a documentary thing. It's just fascinating to me. I'm going to have to listen to that podcast though, because that whole thing fascinates me. People will disappear that should not disappear. And then they are usually found dead or at or around some body of water. And the number of times that happens is uncanny. So, anyway, tell us your thoughts. What do you guys think? Anybody in the chat that wants to give their thoughts or opinions?
Not yet. I know sometimes
it's a little slow.
The little feed is behind what we're actually saying. Lee Short says both exist.
Oh,
so I guess that's the aliens and I guess he's Team JT on that one.
It could be the Skinwalker.
Oh, do you watch Skinwalker Ranch?
Yes. Discovery Plus, man.
All right. Have you watched the Blind Frog Ranch though?
No.
Oh, buddy. Now that's something. Did you ever watch The Curse of Oak Island?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it is, again, it's like Oak Island, i.e. treasure hunting, and Skinwalker Ranch had a baby. So they're, I think, like 20 miles from Skinwalker Ranch, so there's weird stuff that happens. But there's also, they found treasure. And so there's a whole, like, lore of some missing loot. And they found something down in a hole, and I think there's 6 episodes in, and that's the end of the first season. But that's one to watch. That one's very interesting.
I need a little update. I don't know watching that. What is Skinwalker Ranch? So I should know this probably, but I don't.
Alan, do you want to describe it?
So I know it's a ranch in Utah, right? And
right. Yep.
Who's the guy who owns it? It used to be owned by Bigelow, right?
It was Bigelow, and now it's some guy that I feel like I could beat up.
He's like a real estate developer,
very
in Utah,
nerdy
or something
looking,
like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, so he owns it. And now he has this crew coming in, but basically, like some ranch family had it a while back, and like they started like pretty much right off the bat, they started noticing like weird stuff, like noises, and it's almost like possession / aliens going on, and like then like wolves, but they had all these weird things like cattle mutilation.
Yep.
With no blood.
No blood.
They had
no reason for them to die.
Yeah, they had cattle go from like being in a pasture to like crammed into this like tiny little trailer thing, and it's a pretty wild show. I like it.
Yeah, no, I do too. And what I like about the show is they brought in like this astrophysicist, like a real life NASA guy, to kind of explain what's going on. But there are like, go ahead.
The way he says UFO drives me nuts, though. He's like UFO. UFO. Yeah, no, but I like the guy. He's from Alabama, so he's got that like Southern drawl thing. But it's interesting. Yeah, the cattle mutilations, the aliens, the portals. You see portals opening up. Portals. I'll use that term loosely. Turn into like coast to coast here in a minute. It's somebody that it's like a werewolf type thing from an Indian culture, Native American culture.
So the Wikipedia article mentions the skinwalker of Navajo legend about vengeful shamans.
Yes.
This is Utah, so
it's like a curse.
All right, we can move on now. Yeah. I'm officially creeped out. So
okay. But there is some weird stuff. Now, I'm not going to be a spoiler on this, so if anybody wants to watch Blind Frog Ranch, they actually come to some sort of conclusion of what's happening over there at Skinwalker Ranch, what I think is very fascinating. So I would tell you, watch that show if you're interested. So there's that. Nope. I think we're going to skip the Get Back to Work article. We'll do that next week. Okay. But because I want to hear about producer Brian's Bojangle chicken sandwich experience.
Yeah, so it's Thursday, which is becoming Brian screws up his diet day.
No fault of our show at this point. Not anymore.
I think I would have done this anyway. It didn't hurt that we were recording tonight.
Yeah, okay.
So yesterday, I learned of the new chicken sandwich from Bojangles, and it is well documented on this podcast, my feelings for Bojangles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No secret. I'm a fan. If you is your first time and you're in Greece, and Bojangles is amazing. You should come from Greece and try it. It's way better than a euro. So I found out about this yesterday, and I'd happened to be out and about today, and it was lunchtime, and I hadn't had breakfast, and I was really hungry. I thought, what better time than to try this new chicken sandwich? So I got in line. Took a very long time because it's lunchtime, right? Anyway, I had the sandwich.
Yeah. They're not as efficient as Chick-fil-A.
Who is?
Nobody.
I think it might have been faster than Popeyes would have been. So, I do have a review. I do have a score going back to our chicken madness. I've put it in the bracket.
Okay.
I've looked at the
It's official
point.
now.
I made a bonus round. So if you guys want to go back and check it out, you can go look at that too, but I need to pull the score up actually. A couple qualifiers. I was very hungry. I haven't had bread in a month. So these all could very well. I did have pizza last week, that's not bread. That's pizza.
So you haven't had bread in over a week.
I haven't had bread in a while. Hold on. I lost my.
Oh no.
Where'd it go? I had this pulled up. I must have. Oh, here it is. Found it. Okay. Found my score.
Got it.
Anyway, so a couple qualifiers. That's one of the qualifiers. The other one is I watched them. I was at the window for probably 5 minutes, which is how long it takes to cook a piece of chicken, I believe. I watched them carry the chicken across from the fryer and put it on the bun. Okay.
Oh, that's steaming Willy bean
fresh,
hot.
And I saw that happen, so I knew better than to eat it right away.
Good call.
Because that would have been very bad. It would have changed the whole review. Hot grease in your face. Saw this. Then I watched the guy struggle to close the box. Like he couldn't figure out how to put the bun on this piece of chicken because it's enormous. Like, imagine you go get fried chicken wherever your favorite place is. You see like the biggest chicken breast they got, right? Just pull the bone out of that. That's what's sitting on top of this sandwich. I sent you guys a picture.
Wow.
It's enormous, right? And it's crispy.
That's what she said.
It's fresh.
So let me get this straight. Bojangles listened to the entire chicken bracket show that we had, listened to my complaints that it is way too small, and they said to themselves, we got to fix this.
Well, I think they still sell that sandwich, to be clear.
But why would
here's
you?
what I think happened. 2 years ago, Popeyes does its thing. They see it.
Sure.
Okay, let's sit there and watch. And then a little bit later, KFC did one sandwich, right? Then McDonald's did a sandwich. And then Zaxby's did a sandwich. And then Bojangles went, hold my beer.
We know our suck.
They said, hold my beer. And they, this thing, it was awesome. I just got to say, it was awesome.
Really?
It was absolutely. And I love Bojangles. So I put it through the bracket. It looked amazing, right? So presentation, it was a 5-point scale. It got the whole 5 for me. Because you can't fit it in the box. That in itself is amazing. Picture, right? Did I send it both of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You sent it. I couldn't. I needed more pictures.
Well, it didn't. It wasn't. I pulled over to take that picture because I was eating in the truck while I was driving. So,
wow.
Bread was awesome. I don't even know what kind of bread it is, but it's delicious. It got a 5.
Oh yeah. So let's actually
let's go through the description here. Do you have that?
Here it is. Okay. So this is the mic drop Bojangles new chicken sandwich. And said that their team had a blast perfecting the sandwich, and we can't wait for you to try it. And the description is a toasted and buttered bakery bun with juicy marinated chicken breast, hand breaded with a crispy buttermilk coating, and then dusted with a secret mix of bold spices. Accompanying the chicken is a layer of creamy, zesty mayonnaise affixed with a thick-cut dill pickle.
I can see all of that.
Yeah. There was more than one pickle.
It's fascinating.
Jump ahead of that. But yeah, so that bread.
That's okay. Magic Man hates pickles.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could do without the pickles and without the mayonnaise.
They nailed the pickle.
But the rest of it.
Nailed the pickle.
So they nailed the pickle.
And there was more. It wasn't a pickle.
Thing.
It was pickles. There was pickles all over this thing. Like the perfect the chicken to mayo to pickle to bread ratio was perfect. Okay.
Wow. That's saying something. Either that or, again, you haven't had bread and or carbs.
Again, qualifier, I haven't had anything like this in a while. So it could very skew the thing. So bread, I give it a 5. Sauce, it was a 3, but only because I can't give mayonnaise more than 3. It's just mayonnaise, right? It was very good. I could probably give it 4, but I didn't.
I mean, it's a zesty mayo.
It's good.
It's zesty mayo.
I enjoyed it. The toppings, I gave it a 5 because the pickles were outstanding. They weren't like they were good pickles. They weren't too green, if you know what I mean, like that overly all right, vinegary. They taste like good, real pickles, almost like homemade.
Yeah.
The chicken, I made sure to get some of the chicken on its own. Super crunchy.
I mean, that was a massive
super tender.
Piece of chicken. Yep.
Had that Cajun stuff in there that I like. So it's a little touch spicy.
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay.
You give it a 9. Got a 9.
All right.
Yeah.
It's high falutin right there.
Previous scale,
I saw this
was 30. What did you say?
I was going to say, I saw this picture yesterday and I just kind of glanced because, I was busy working. I was saying, that's a nice looking chicken sandwich. That looks good. Okay. Then went back on to work. But now that I look at it, I'm going to have to go try me one of those. That's so my total for this particular sandwich was 27 points.
Golly. What was our highest?
The winner, the Zaxby's winner for me, I'm only looking at my score, was 26 when we did the final bracket. The highest one that anyone got, I got it in front of me. Let me pull it.
Alan, did you see the picture of the sandwich when he pulled it up? I think you were walking.
I didn't see it.
All right. Well, I don't know. It'll adjust.
Here, I'll put it back over.
Oh, that's interesting. Nothing else. The only thing, there was another 26 early on, and it was.
There you go. There's the sandwich.
It was Zaxby's got 26 from me more than one time. That was the highest scores.
Okay.
This got 27. Not official.
Alan, didn't that look good?
Mm-hmm. I don't mess with Bojangles though.
No.
Why don't you mess with Bojangles?
I don't know, man. I
Bojangles.
just can't find my thing I like there.
Chicken.
Well, have you tried the chicken sandwich?
No, I'm gonna have to try.
Well, clearly that's the thing.
Boy, you ain't from around here, are you?
So if you
He's from New
compare
York.
I'm a Southern Yankee.
Oh, okay.
We just let you.
Remember the
hear it 'cause you're
KFC sandwich?
Yeah.
How we were so impressed by that? It blows it out of the water.
Really?
It just, and again, fresh. Haven't had bread in a while.
Yeah.
You guys should try it, and maybe you'll be lucky enough
absolutely.
to get it out of the fryer like I did. But
I'm going to demand it out of the fryer. I don't want you.
See, that looks like
chicken.
it's so good. It was really good.
I mean, that looks like real chicken. That doesn't look like some industrial patty with some stuff on the outside in a square.
There was no tenderizing to this thing, like with a mallet. They didn't run through a machine. I'm pretty sure they caught the chicken while I was in line, and then breaded it and threw it in the fryer because it was so fresh.
All right, we got to quit recording so I can go ahead with Bojangles right now.
Absolutely. and Lee, stick around because I'm going to promote some Liberty Spices here after a while. All right, so good. I'm glad everybody go try the Bojangles, the new Bojangles chicken sandwich. Don't get the old one. Say I don't want the old one. I want the new one.
Yeah, it's a number 10 at least around here.
Okay, and it is a number 10. 10 out of 10.
It's Bo's chicken sandwich. Don't go asking for a Cajun filet because you're going to get that skinny thing, which I still like. But this is like 4 of those put together.
And that's my biggest complaint. And I said, if it was thicker, it would have been fine. Can we just say, just to humor me, that they created this one because I was so adamant that their chicken was too small?
Absolutely.
Okay. It's our fault.
This is the SFP Bojangles chicken sandwich.
They should rename it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the same colors and everything. Bojangles, why don't you sponsor us? For real. We could eat biscuits every day.
I mean, 2 of the names on this podcast are Southern and Fried.
Yeah, we're
man.
your target audience, Bojangles.
Obviously.
Come on. And we live in Charlotte. Come on.
We're in the home territory.
We're the home team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. We're the home team. You're giving some NIL money to some sports player that doesn't need it. Anyway, so there's that again. So, all right. So our new segment that we're going to start with tonight, again, into season 5, we're really going to bring back on season 6, barring Alan is still traveling and still able to do it. But what Alan Alan, can you explain what you do?
So I'm like a traveling salesman. No, that's not true.
Okay, that's it.
No, I travel around and do communication work. So for microwave radios. So it takes me all over the place, and that's kind of the cool part about it is I get to go really neat places. I got to go to Boston last year, a ton of Texas this year.
Boston's cool.
Yeah. And so Alan's like, hey, I eat at all these restaurants. You know, it'd be funny if I talked about them. And I was like, that would be a great bit for the show. Come on, tell us where you ate, what you liked about it. And maybe at some point next season, we'll call the restaurants back and say, hey, you ate here, your server was, and then compliment them, give them a plus or minus and let them know where they stand on that. It would be even great if we could do it while you're at the restaurant, and then we can do a whole live thing. That'd be fun. But you recently went to Dallas, right? And you ate at, just go ahead and tell us your experience.
So, and I corrected the name because I even put it in my notes.
You did.
It's the wrong name. But it's Hard Eights. I had a little bit of time to spare before I caught my flight back home. And this place was suggested to me by one of the locals out there. And it's just, there's a couple locations, I guess, around Dallas. But I went to the location that's just north of DFW, the airport. And it was cool. I thought it was really neat. I'm usually kind of a little weird about certain places, but this was neat. It was in a really weird spot. I think it was in a business park. There were all these giant business buildings, not really giant, but just looked like a huge business park, like an endless one. And it's sitting there right across the street. And so I went
good place
in
to
and,
be.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't think I was going to have time to eat. So this was pretty cool. And so it's a barbecue joint. And so when you first walk up to the front of the building, you're walking like to a little line, a roped off line.
Okay.
And you're approaching, you go right up to the smoker and you get to pick whatever you want off the smoker.
Come on. Ooh.
Wow.
So as
I like it.
There was a couple in front of me and it's like, I've never been here. What should I try? And their suggestion to me was there was a smoked sausage that they said was really good.
Okay.
And the brisket. So I chose the brisket.
Yes, sir.
And so they served it right off the smoker. It was awesome. And I got a side of it was roasted corn.
Okay.
And that came off the smoker as well. In the shuck. Ooh. I had to shuck it at the table.
Okay.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
probably pay extra for that.
Right. I mean, it's $2.50 an ear of corn there, so there's that.
So anything that would be on the smoker, you get off the smoker, and then like you go inside, and there's like a buffet of like side items like coleslaw and like potato salad and like different items like that, and like a couple dessert options. But they had like the tomato base barbecue sauce. I didn't see is vinegar East Coast.
It's North Carolina.
Eastern style is mostly is heavy vinegar. Yeah.
Yeah. So they didn't have that.
No, they wouldn't.
So
this would be the molasses sauce probably in Texas. It's probably real sweet.
It was about what you expect. Tomato.
Was it pork or beef?
It was beef.
Brisket,
I believe.
Yeah, because Texas does a lot of beef. That's their barbecue's beef.
Yeah,
and we do pork here.
Well,
yeah.
I'm looking at their menu right now, and there's pulled pork doesn't exist here. I found it. That's way down the menu. That's how you know. Don't get it there. It's like one of the last three things on the menu.
But if that brisket, when they pulled that brisket off, like that thing just like fell apart.
Yeah.
It was so
man.
It was good.
Man.
So,
do you prefer the wet or the dry on the brisket?
So like sauce or no sauce?
No, like so. There's the flat, and I made my first brisket
side, basically. Yeah,
yeah. So the fatty side or the lean side, where like there's fat on it, where it just melts like butter in your mouth, or do you just like no fat? I just want to eat the meat.
I want the fat.
Yeah, boy, way to go. There
like when I go to smoke pit here, I love the burnt ends.
Yep.
And
okay,
that's the point. Cut up. That's what that is. Yep. So
yeah, and there's a lot more flavor that way.
But, absolutely.
Did you get the pintos? Because you can get free pinto beans apparently if you dine in.
Really?
That's what it says on the menu here. It's free pintos.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, this looks pretty good though. That just the picture. So if you go to the website hard8barbecue.com, there's a picture, and I'm assuming it's similar to what you saw when you walked in. I just want to crawl up lay down on top of that picture and just like slowly gorge myself and then pass out. And then wake up and eat some more.
The pitmasters were awesome too. They were like I asked some questions and they were telling me anything I wanted to know, and I asked them about the corn and stuff like that, and everybody was super friendly from like the time I started to the time I left. Like somebody they had that kind of like almost Chick-fil-A, kind of customer service quality.
All right.
Like it was that good. But I ended up sitting and eating on like the front portion of the building is like all bar top kind of stool seating. So I ended up chilling there. I didn't get a window seat. Everybody was sitting in front of the windows, but I couldn't take a table up just being by myself. But it was good, man. And it was more food. They warned me as I was coming in, it was going to be, more food than I could handle. And I didn't believe them. And it was totally true. Like I got two sides. I got the coleslaw and the potato salad and the corn. So I have three. But so between all of that and like just a brisket sandwich with some sauce on it, I couldn't finish the sides. I ate the corn, but I couldn't finish everything else.
Wow.
It was good.
Go ahead.
I'm not very picky about like food's either food's either like terrible or it's good.
Okay.
So
it's a 1 or a 0. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd say this was like a very good.
Okay. All
this
right.
was a 2.
It's a 2. Okay. That's the Allen scale. 1 or
Allen
0.
scale.
And if it's a 2, then you know that's something special.
I'm working on
That's
building
awesome.
up to a 5, and maybe I can get like a show on like Travel Channel or something.
Yeah. It's eat or don't eat. What's a yum or dumb? There was right or a
Eat or don't eat. I like
yeah,
that.
there's some things like that. So I'm looking at the menu again, and something jumps out at me.
Okay.
So brisket is $21 a pound, right?
Right.
Just that's not unusual for good brisket.
Right.
For the same price, you can
Same
also
price as
get
brisket.
all beef smoked bologna. Also $21 a pound.
Also, ham is $21 a pound. Everything on the menu is $21 a pound.
Oh,
Chicken
you're right.
poppers.
That is what's
Number.
happening. What the heck?
That-
Where are they getting this
But that's per
food?
pound. I don't think the serving size was or the serving I got was a pound. I don't know.
Well, you can get half pound
Could be
servings
wrong.
is typically
Yeah, you can get
the
that.
market
Yeah.
price is
I think it
21.
I think it was because I want to say like the whole thing came up to like 20 something.
But
Okay,
real
so
talk,
you got like
you
half
walk
a
up and you
pound.
go, okay, you can have $21 of the brisket or $21 of the bologna.
Their marketing is horrible. I mean, who's setting these prices?
They make up for it in their customer service.
Everything's by the pound. That's just nuts.
$21 for, I mean, you could buy an entire turkey for $21. Probably 2 of them.
Prime rib.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
prime
don't-
rib's $25.
Except the shrimp poppers, those are $25 a pound.
Well, yeah.
You're paying
'cause-
for the experience.
I mean, and then the chicken half is $8. So if you
how
had
big's
2
the chicken,
chickens,
right?
that's 16. I don't
You're gonna
know.
need some Texas listeners to chime in. And
Well, we have Sketch, but he's in Houston. So if he's ever in Dallas,
close,
I'll tell him
right?
to go to the Heart 8. No,
I don't know
Sketch.
about Texas geography.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually have a coworker, a friend of mine, who lives in Dallas.
Okay.
I just wrote down the name so I can ask him about it tomorrow.
There we go. That's how we're going to figure this out.
Can we order
Um,
like to go from here? Like, can you ship it?
You can, yes. It actually, if you look at the menu, you can get it shipped. They ship anywhere.
Can I get that Oreo
So-
mud pie
Yeah,
or the
that's
whiskey
what I would
buttermilk
want.
pie?
The whiskey buttermilk
Oh,
pie. That's what I want shipped.
Come on.
dude, they're so close to DFW. You could just have somebody like
Right.
Uber it to your house or whatever.
Oh,
Could you imagine how good that plane would smell if you got like
Dude.
3 pounds of brisket on
Can
the way
the Uber
home?
driver get into the airport? So I just fly down. Can we like meet over the TSA line and grab the food and then go
Like,
back
you're not gonna
you go.
leave security.
and eat? I don't want to leave, but I don't want them to come through security. Like there has to be pass my brisket through the machine, the X-ray machine, right? Maybe they won't have to
Yeah.
examine it. You know what I mean?
Oh, they're going to examine
I'm
it.
gonna give me
and
2
their
pounds
stomachs.
because I'm going to lose a pound in security.
All right.
Sir, you can't bring those ribs through here.
Well, they do have pork ribs, also $21 a pound. Yeah. Okay. Well,
There's gonna be a
great.
bargain there.
Yeah. No, I would totally do 21 pounds for the brisket. I would take that all day, every day. Because I bought a brisket that was 13 pounds,
Oh well,
and that was on sale.
$65, right?
$65, yeah.
So I'm trying to think what I've paid for brisket around here. And it's probably less or more than that in general.
Oh, you mean like at
Like at a restaurant.
fixed?
No, just like buying like a
Like
Big
at-
Tiny's over in Mooresville, which is somewhere I like to
yeah,
go.
like at a like smoke pit.
Sure.
I like me some big times.
Yeah, right? Big Tiny's is good, man.
Yeah. They take care of us
Um,
in our office.
Okay.
Magic Man, which one are you looking at the menu too?
Yeah.
Which one of these would you prefer if you had to get 21? If you had to get a pound of it,
How much is the sausage?
That brisket.
$21 a pound.
That brisket.
Like,
I think I would do the brisket for sure.
So Big Tiny's is $25 a pound. Mooresville. So that's,
Okay.
that's fair.
Oh.
Brisket and some macaroni and cheese.
there you go. The first time I think you and I have agreed on what to
Well,
eat.
they don't have scrambled eggs.
I teetered on the mac and cheese. I was looking at it and I was like, oh man.
See, okay.
Go ahead.
What would you ask him what he would order?
Yeah, I was like, what would he pick if he you had to buy a pound of something.
Pound. Well, if you're in Texas, I mean, come on.
You got to go for the brisket.
I usually, when I go to a place like this, I get some kind of platter where I can get more than one thing.
Yeah, I wish they had like where you could get a couple of things.
I can walk in.
I don't see that on.
I'd get brisket and sausage almost every time. Because sausage is a thing that I've not tried myself, and I don't even know where to start with that.
Okay,
a good sausage is good, obviously, and a bad sausage is bad. It's an Allen scale.
It's Allen scale again, 1 to 2.
I like to find a good sausage. That's what she said.
I like that I already have a scale in there.
And there's a show title. I like a good sausage.
That's how I'm writing it down.
Oh, well, look, if you're in the Dallas area, you get a hard 2 from Allen and his scale of the hard 8. So please stop by. Let them know that Southern Fried sent you there. So that would be great.
It's a 2 out of 2.
A 2 out of 2. We need to give them a call and let them know that they received a 2 out of 2 on the scale. All right. All right. So let's go to some wacky news.
Are you going to bring up Lee's stuff while we're talking about barbecue?
Oh, yeah. So I did my first for Small Batch's birthday. I did pork butt, and I used for the first time the Liberty Spices pork rub on it. And then, but here's the deal. Like, so it's pork rub. It has a bunch of different spices in it. Generally a pretty typical pork rub. But then Lee turned me on to the finishing dust. It's the Shorty's finishing dust that you put on the pulled pork. You get it all done, let it rest, start to pull it. You know, at that point it melts, so it's just deliciousness and moist and everything else. But then, gentlemen, you put on the finishing dust on that pork butt. And I've got to tell you, pork butt's great, but this thing elevated it to a whole nother level. Just kicked it up to the moon. So libertyspices.net, I believe it is. Shorty's finishing dust. Bro, that was good stuff. I really enjoyed it. So I'm just now getting into smoking. I clearly don't know everything. And I'm kind of like the Allen scale. It's either good or it's not. But to me, that finishing dust really kicked it up to the moon. We're not sponsors. We're not getting paid for that. I'm just telling you, if you smoke meat, Producer Brian, I think you have some.
I do. I haven't used it. So I have a question. I have I might have to leave if you answer this the wrong way. But
okay. All right.
So
no pressure.
You had the barbecue I made on my last run. I brought you some.
Yep.
Did it need finishing dust on it?
You're right.
I'm just asking because to me, as a bit of a purist on some level, I mean, eat what you like. If it's good, it's good, right?
Right.
If it ain't broke. So I get it in competition, you need to help it out because you didn't do what you wanted to. Is that the idea here, you think?
Here's the thing too. I made it. So that your level of cooking is at the 2 out of 2 Allen scale. Mine was at the 0 level. So this finishing dust really made it to a 1, a solid 1, I believe.
Wow.
Come
on, it can't be that bad. It's going to be 0.
I didn't get the bark that I wanted. It was I didn't put enough wood in there.
Sure.
Because, I like a good sausage. But it just didn't have the good bark on it as much as I wanted. But it was fine. Okay. But I really enjoyed it. I can't do what you did. And to be clear, you said it's the best one you've ever done.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That to me is like a unicorn.
Maybe.
If you can do that again, then you're on something.
I need to thaw one out. I might thaw it out right now.
But if you don't and you need a little help, this thing will kick it up to the moon. Okay. How about that?
Okay.
Can we just say we'll just leave it at that?
That's good. I need to know where we were at on that. So
yeah,
I think I need to be involved in taste testing. So
absolutely,
the Allen scale.
Absolutely, we'll have you over, and we'll go from. You know what we could do, Producer Brian, is for our beer night. What if we made pulled pork and brought that up to the brewery, and then people could have that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Ditch that charcuterie plate. We're bringing ribs, baby.
It's going to barbecue plate.
Barbecutery.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Magic Man, I need you to give me that signature word. Your signature phrase that pays. Come on.
Hell yeah, brother.
There it is.
I was gonna
Been
push the
waiting all
button
night
if
to
you
hear
didn't
that.
say it. So.
All right, so here's some wacky news brought to you by Watchman Cigars. If you need a quality cigar at a reasonable price, check out our friends at Watchman Cigars.
I do need one of those, actually.
Yeah.
I need to text him.
I do too.
So
Me three.
yeah. So speaking of that, we talked about vaccination earlier. Well, a Raleigh man, he has been known to elaborate holiday decorations at his home, has now put up a strong statement to those unvaccinated against the COVID-19. Jesse Jones, that's a cool name.
It's a roll.
Jesse Jones. Home in downtown Raleigh is currently adorned with tombstones and a giant skeleton with a message board hanging from its waist that read, "Not vaccinated. See you soon, idiots."
Wow.
Tombstones that say Novak at the top have messages on them that include, "It wasn't a hoax," and "My doctor is on YouTube," and "I got my news from Fox."
Jeez.
He said, "You wear a mask, social distance, and get vaccinated. It's just that simple. So I just got frustrated because nobody does it, and that's why I put it up." So, I mean, that's quite a statement. Now, he's on the news giving an interview, and he's got a little Pomeranian.
Oh.
He's holding a little Pomeranian, which, I mean,
that's like a cush ball, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Thanks a lot, Raleigh. Nailed it.
It's fun. It's funny, I guess. That's I feel he has a better chance of getting egged, I think, for Halloween.
Well,
or TP'd. That's a lot of
TP'd,
stuff.
yeah.
That's a lot of. You can't have an HOA. That's all I'm thinking. Looking at that picture, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to be pretty lax on that.
Oh wait a minute. Oh, that's the 2016 I'm looking at. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's 17. Hold on. Wait a minute. There's different pictures here. The one at the very bottom was from previous year.
Actually, I got it right.
Oh, come on.
Speaking of getting egged, a British village is on the hunt for a vandal who pours beans on front people's doors. Evidently, in Waverley, southeast England, a person is going around putting baked beans on people's doorways, on their cars. For no apparent reason, he just pours out cans of baked beans on people's stuff. Have you ever been beaned before, gentlemen?
Not with actual beans.
No, not with beans.
Sounds like a waste.
It is a complete waste.
This is in England, right?
Yeah.
Well, their beans are different. You guys know about the British baked beans, right?
No, what's the difference?
Basically, imagine if Chef Boyardee had beans in it.
Oh no!
It's like tomato sauce and beans. It's not. There's no sugar. There's no molasses. These aren't good beans, so you really don't want to eat them.
Okay.
You want to pour them on people's doorsteps.
Maybe that explains
it's a breakfast. People eat it for breakfast. I've never had it, but you can find it in some stores. Heinz makes it. It's like a teal can. They're like British style baked beans.
Yeah, that's the pictures.
I've never had them. It's a world traveler Allen may have had it before. Have you had a British breakfast, like an English breakfast with beans?
I was thinking about it. I've been to the UK, but I haven't had that.
Yeah, it's a thing with toast and like that real thick rashers of bacon and stuff. It might be good altogether, but they're not the baked beans that are near and dear to our hearts. That's all I'm saying. So it's not as much of a tragedy as it could be.
You know what a tragedy is you're eating beans for breakfast. I mean, that can't make for a comfortable day in the office.
You can't fart all day if you don't start in the morning.
Burp.
I was going to say beans, musical fruit.
Yeah.
What I loved most about this article was the dad jokes that happened on Facebook commenters, such as, "I hope somebody spills the beans on who it might be. Wonder how long it'll take the police to catch up with them." And a third person warned anyone who'd consider moving to Surrey to know that the crime rate has been going up. I love dad jokes.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
So, well done, commenters. I appreciate that. I don't know. I think the worst I ever did was to my former youth pastor, where for some reason we got kitty litter because I think it was cheap, and we poured that on his car, not thinking that this could scratch his car. Whoopsie.
I forked a guy's yard one time.
Oh yeah.
And he said he didn't find out about it till years. He had no idea who did it. He was like he was a friend of mine who was a children's pastor at a church. But the kids he dealt with were too young to like deal with this, right? So we did it. And he didn't find out about it until like 5 or 6 years later. We were at a mutual friend's funeral who had done it with us, and like it was a good time to kind of tell him. But he was like blown away. He said the worst part about it was that the forks were spread out just far enough apart that he had to bend over every time to pick one up. He wasn't the little guy, you might say. He said the worst part was like the way we spread them out. You couldn't like get more than one fork at a time when you were taking them out of the yard.
Yeah, that would be horrible. We forked somebody before. That's not fun. The next article, last but not least, a naked man in Seattle. A naked man stabbed another naked man on Tuesday, according to Seattle police. There can only be one. Just after 8 a.m. on Tuesday, 8 a.m., officers responded to a noise disturbance call heard from a witness that one naked man had stabbed a second naked man on the sidewalk. The one witness had already taken the victim to the hospital before the police arrived. I want to know the story behind that so bad. Like,
he was stealing his bit.
Oh, we're on a roll tonight, fellas.
Not one naked man on the street, but two. Right. You think they came out of the same house?
And why did he get stabbed? Was he like, you're naked?
This sounds like a lover's spat to me, but...
you think at 8 a.m. in the morning?
Well, when else are you going to...
Or was the stabber jealous of the stabbee?
Maybe. They're both walking, they're neighbors, and they're both look across the way, and you see the two naked guys in each other's living rooms, and you go, oh, wait a minute. I don't know how you get to that point.
No.
Unless you're fighting and it rolls out into the street.
And you're not just, if you're naked, you don't have, pockets to carry stuff in, so where did the knife come from?
Well, maybe there was one of them may have been a inmate who had practice. You never know.
Oh.
Life skills.
There's that.
All this is some British baked beans.
Is there video is what I want to know. Is there video? See?
And fake fax cards. All right. The naked man was also found dead on a hiking trail. I don't know how that happened. All right. So anything else? Producer Brian, did you have one more?
That was the same article I had found.
That was it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There can only be one.
Two. I can see a naked man stab somebody. That's like the crazy Jesus thing we had a few weeks ago, right? That's normal. That's a normal day in Seattle. But two. That makes headlines. Yeah. I saw when I was looking, I saw this earlier, the Reddit thing underneath it said, nude on nude crime goes underreported. I can't hear enough about these things.
Oh, good times.
Yeah.
All right. Well, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Again, we just have one more for the season, but we will be back in January, so please don't go away. We will be back, I promise. Just work is so busy and everything else is just tied up with holidays and whatnot, so it just makes it easy on us, the family. Again, appreciate it for tuning in, and as always, keep looking up.